If you're looking for Magic cards, look no further than Flipside Gaming. They have all the latest Magic singles and product that you need to actually leave the house and battle in Magic the Gathering. And right now, if you would like to save 10% on your orders from Flipside Gaming, use the promo code CGB at checkout. That is promo code CGB. Hello and welcome to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we're going to the pro side of our channel to look at a spiky deck, and this is Grixis Mirari Conjecture by Sam Black. Sam Black is one of the kookier, quirky is probably a better term. Let's go with quirky. I would call him a quirky player. He's a very unique personality in the Magic the Gathering scene. He plays a lot of interesting decks. He likes sacrificing things and he likes to build up big mana. He just likes to play with the fringe stuff on the format. When you talk about brewers, he is known as a brewer. He's been a pro for quite a while and there are plenty of places to check out his work. You can find him on Star City Games, where he writes for the premium side of Star City Games, which in many ways, they don't pay me anything. This isn't sponsored, but I feel like that the premium side of Star City is worth it for many Sam Black articles alone if you like checking out unique, awesome decks and interesting thoughts on the format. And then also he has a podcast, I believe it's sponsored by Channel Fireball, the Pro Points Podcast, and I strongly recommend that as well. Both are great ways to get great information about Magic and learn more about the game, as well as keep up on current metagame trends. So, yeah, check out Sam Black, multi-time Platinum Pro, World Championship competitor, and insane deck brewer. And this is the latest thing that he's working on. There is an article about it on StarCityGames.com. And what we have here is, it's a big mana deck. It is Treasure Maps, Powerstone Shard, and then using Pirate's Pillage as well, all generate a little bit of extra mana. And with the big mana, you can Star of Extinction the board, you can draw 1,000,000 with Expansion Explosion, you can use Mirari Conjecture to do it all again if you need to. Mirari Conjecture, getting back and copying Expansion Explosion is often the deck's win con. Also, a few other options are killing the opponent with their own things with Eldest Reborn's third chapter, and making some giant Karn beating construct artifact creatures is another way that the deck can win the game. However, at its heart, it's a control deck without counterspells, a tap-out control deck. It kills your early stuff, it casts some big mana stuff, and then it uses that big mana to do big effective things. Don't underestimate the power of Dispersal. This deck looks pretty, how would you say, sketchy against Carnage Tyrant. Dispersal actually can hold that back, Star of Extinction can blow it up, and Eldest Reborn can kill it if all their other little stuff is dead. Moving over into the sideboard, there is basically intense hand hate all over the board. All over the board. If you are going to play, we'll go through the sideboard guide, by the way, right here in the deck instead of making several different versions to look at. But over here, this is where you don't have counter spells. There's still no counter spells in the 75, but if your opponent's going to try to control you, we're going to hate their hand out. So if you're playing against either Izzet Drakes or Jeskai control, most likely you're going to bring in all your Duresses and all your Thought Erasures and your Search for Azcanta and your Eldest Reborn. And against those decks, you don't really want Star of Extinction. It's big, it's sorcery speed, 2 mana intensive, too easy to counter, and you want to take out all your little removal spells. And oops, I'm pulling them out of the deck. What a fail. But anyway, so then we're back to 52 out of 60, and the sideboard is 10, so we bring that in. So there's 2 more cards to cut. I would lean towards Karn, maybe a couple of Lava Coils. It depends what you're up against. The Drake deck, you need to keep your Lava Coil. The Jeskai deck, if they run Drakes, you need to keep a couple, but I'd probably cut out 2 Lava Coils. As for Mono Red, bring in the Fungal Infections, the extra Moment of Craving, and take out some of the more expensive cards, like Star of Extinction, an Expansion Explosion, probably an Eldest Reborn, or maybe a Mirari's Conjecture, one of the 2. Finally, if you're going to play against super hyper-aggressive Mono Red, I just talked about Mono Red. If you're going to bring if you're going to play against Golgari, which is the other big player in the metagame, cut one expansion explosion, add one more Star of Extinction. You don't want to be stuck with an explosion facing a tyrant that's about to lethal you. You want to be able to Star of Extinct it. All right. I hope you enjoyed this little intro, this brief sideboarding guide, and if you want more about sideboarding, check out the description where I'll try to put a full sideboarding guide. Let's get into the games. I think you will really enjoy this deck. This hand is interesting. We have Treasure Map and Moment of Craving, and a bunch of some 5-drops and a 7-drop on 2 land on the draw. I think I keep it because if we get to our 3rd land, it's quite possible a few scries with Treasure Map can get us to our 4th, 5th, and even flip to provide the mana. And the Moment of Craving might help ensure that we don't get run over right away. We're in a competitive event. The first to 5 wins or 2 losses, best of 3 format. And we're waiting on our opponent to make the first move. It makes me so nervous keeping so many expensive cards. Mountain to mountain with no other play is different. So here's the map. Let's start scrying our way to more land. And there's Goblin Chain Whirler. So maybe a bigger red deck, or maybe just a very slow start for the regular red deck. Don't have the mana for you. And there you go. So do we play that tapped? Or do we play another mountain to have Moment of Craving available? I think we play this tapped. We can Pirate's Pillage next turn. So I'm not going to upkeep Scry to keep my options available. That's not good. That's pretty rough. So what don't we need? Right now Eldest Reborn is pretty terrible, so I'm going to drop that off. And there's a Lava Coil. Let's get it done. It's too bad that we didn't draw more land, because we do need them rather badly, but that Phoenix gotta go. Things that do 2 damage. I need something that does 3. Darn you, Chain Whirler. Curse you. Daredevil. Doing what? Pirate's Pillage? They don't have the mana for it. You still have to cast the card. Okay. A treasure map of your own. So this is a bigger, slower red deck, it appears. Let's see what we draw here. Another land. Okay, so now we can crave the Daredevil, then we can Eldest Reborn the Chain Whirler unless our opponent plays another thing. Another option is to get back the play Conjecture, but we don't have an instant yet. We could play Eldest Reborn, that's not really what I'm going for, so we'll pass the turn here. We'll hold up a treasure map to get more information. If we use it during our opponent's turn, then perhaps we'll have a better idea of what we need to deal with. Our opponent did go to the top, by the way, on that, so we can anticipate they have at least one extremely playable non-land card. Click through there, and another Chain Whirler. Makes sense to keep another Chain Whirler in that spot, but we're likely to drop a Star of Extinction here in a moment. The only thing about that is I'd love to wait until their treasure map flips, but that might be a turn too long at this point. Perhaps not. Maybe we do play Eldest Reborn. Anyway, our opponent's sitting on their 2nd main phase thinking about what to do. I'll go ahead and use this moment to use my treasure map. Put a stop on upkeep. We may want to scry there, we'll see. Would I keep a land right now? I'm not sure. I would love it for Star of Extinction. Would I keep a Powerstone Shard? I don't think so. And another shock is not what I need. Just bad sizing on the shocks here in this game. And yeah, let's do it again. Though I think a land is a perfectly keepable thing. Oh my lord. When this game gets in its head that you're drawing something, you're drawing it. So yes, if I wait another turn, I might be able to star away the treasure map. But if the opponent doesn't play into my hand with that, then it's a big mistake and I end up taking damage I don't need to. I think I should hang on to Star, at least for a moment. Let's play an Eldest Reborn and get that clock ticking. Treasure map being treasure map. They scryed to the bottom that time. Now let's see if they do an upkeep scry. And it looks like there is an upkeep scry. Let's see if this is top or bottom. Bottom. Alright, so our opponent digs twice and takes a random draw. I guess all the draws are random, but you know what I mean. It's not one that they kind of carefully selected. Siege Gang Commander, perfect. That's what we're looking for, my friends. That's going to make our Star of Extinction juicy. We have to take a little bit of damage here. My turn. We will pop off Eldest Reborn. You have to discard a card. This can't be real. I just drew another shock? Okay. Wow. But here comes the star. Pop in that treasure map. Or treasure cove it is now, which can draw cards for treasures. Now, does the opponent want to use their treasures to deal a bonus 2 damage to me with Siege Gang Commander? That looks like where this is going. It's very likely we need to use Conjecture to get Moment of Craving as soon as possible, so we don't get burnt out. And now there's a Siege Gang Commander in the graveyard that we can get back with Eldest Reborn to really put a clock on our opponent. The other things, our Daredevil and Chain Whirler, just aren't as appetizing. Can even use the ability. Alrighty. Conjecture. We need to make sure there's a black available after the Conjecture. I don't know that I'm going to use the Cove here, so I'll go ahead and use it for colorless. Get me back my Moment of Craving so I don't get burnt out, and pass the turn. Another treasure map off the top. Our opponent really digging at this point. And here is Lava Coil on the Siege Gang Commander. Let's sacrifice the Siege Gang Commander and do the damage to the opponent. That way it stays in the graveyard for our Eldest Reborns. Although I doubt the game will go that long. Next coming back is a sorcery. We could get the Star of Extinction. That's really juicy. I mean, Lava Coil is nice. I do have extras, as you can see now. Let's deal some damage. Now next turn, we get doubling effect from Mirari's Conjecture, which can double our shocks, but it can also double our Moment of Craving if we get a target. The opponent knows we have it, so if they draw something, they shouldn't play it. I'm going to sacrifice this treasure to try to have more options for the Mirari Conjecture turn. And there's a great one, Pirate's Pillage. Oh my. This could get exciting. Bottom, and Really digging here, probably looking for Banefire. They cape on top. Let's see what they draw. If it's a creature, we'll see if they remember the Moment of Craving. It's a Rekindling Phoenix. It is a creature. Well, let's say go, get on our doubling turn and figure it out from there. I don't know if it's the one I want to Moment of Crave, but it's one I can Moment of Crave. So now that we've doubled our effects, let's play a Pirate's Pillage. Let's discard... I'm thinking one of the Lava Coils. I only need the one here for the Phoenix. And that's if I need it. I'm going to have a lot of doubling effects. So when you double your Pirate's Pillage, you draw 4 and you make 4 treasures, so it replaces itself. Then we have an Expansion Explosion. So we can do 8 and draw 8, which is pretty crazy, but probably not necessary. What if we do this? What if we shock, then explode? That's 12 damage. If we could get past... Man, it's really close to being good enough. Okay, so if we shock, and explode, and copy a shock, that's 12, 13, 14, 15. So all I have to do is make sure that I kill this now. So let's go ahead and coil it. And we'll shoot the copy at the Phoenix too. Don't want to kill our own thing. That wouldn't make sense. We'll go combat, attack, punch them. We'll go shock your face. We will go expansion on the shock. And we will shock the face. And the face. And this is why you need so many shocks, I guess. Target the shock. Yep. Math checks out. Even Stevens. And here we go. What are we doing against a big old red deck? Well, they probably do play Runaway Steamkins, so Moment of Craving makes sense, along with some life gain. The bigger the creatures, the better the Eldest Reborns, but remember that they also have Siege Gang commanders and things like that. Maybe Star of Extinction is just better against that kind of shenanigans. I don't know that I need a lot of changes. I don't want to be too slow. So yeah, the shocks weren't great because their creatures outsized it a good amount, so I think I'll cut a few of those. But otherwise, I think the deck pairs up pretty nicely. If our opponent's playing a mid-range game, a few Eldest Reborns are okay, but I don't feel like I need another one. Yeah, this isn't a matchup I've thought about the sideboarding for too much. Maybe there is a case for a few Thought Erasures since the deck is a little bit slower. But no, I think everything is fine. Let's go forth and play some more. And we have a shard in this hand, but none of our 5-drop effects. Still, some cheap removal, including a way to kill a Phoenix, which is always important. This land will come in tapped unless we draw a different land, so let's lead off of it with it. Treasure map returns. We can't play Expansion Explosion without another blue or red source, so eyes open for that. Same thing with Star of Extinction. This could get awkward. We can make plenty of mana with our Powerstone Shards, but we won't be able to cast our Star of Extinction or our Expansion Explosion without some mana. Treasure map activating, going to the top. You can expect our opponent to keep hitting lands and doing things, And here's a Legion War Boss. Well, that's a good target for a Moment of Craving, isn't it? There's a Dragonskull Summit. We'll play another Powerstone. Let's see. Yep, we'll play another Powerstone Shard. We'll play a Moment of Craving. I'm just debating if I should wait. Yeah, my opponent's going to scry a little bit, so we'll put a stop here to make sure that we get to stop and kill the Legion War Boss when we need to. We may just use Star of Extinction. We'll see what our opponent does. Although it doesn't make a lot of sense to lose even more life to the War Boss. Something will get a star dropped on it. We just haven't decided what. Our opponent moving into combat. Before we hit that combat button so that they don't get a token, we fire off that Moment of Craving. Here is a Phoenix. Always another Phoenix. Okay, I think it's as straightforward as kill your Phoenix. Could copy the Lava Coil. Actually, we can't. We don't have enough red/blue. These two swamps and these two Powerstone Shards putting a beating on our mana base. The Arch of Urazka is going to need to die. Our opponent has the City's Blessing. So this can draw cards, a lot of cards. And there's Karn. Things I like to drop stars on. Karn makes the list. What do you get? You get a Chain Whirler. Alright. My turn. There's a land. We're getting close to using Explosion. So I'm getting more comfortable dropping stars. So let's do it. Let's get the Arch of Urazka gone, as it's, in my opinion, the long-term threat, while Treasure Cove is the short-term one.
This will not deter me.
And bye-bye, Karn. Yep, one more red or blue source, and we're exploding all over things, and that should really put the game out of reach if the opponent's trying to grind with us. They're shocking the face. Makes sense, not a lot of other targets, but it also means they didn't get to take shock out of their deck. Well, that doesn't do it yet. Again, we'll put a stop here and decide then how to... We'll blow up the War Boss before it gives our opponent another token, but we don't need to do it yet. Who knows, the opponent may make some casting decisions based on the existence of the War Boss. It's all about timing. Another one, huh? They really like that Arch. Alright. It is an expensive way to draw cards. Here comes Chain Whirls. Our opponent looking in the graveyard, probably for Dire Fleet Daredevil material. Alright, well, we're online. So the job now is to expansion explode the Chain Whirler right when it's about to do something obnoxious, like hit me in the face. So that's 6 mana. So that's a 6-point explosion. And they're red, so countering it isn't an easy thing for them to do. Direfleet Daredevil is also really mana intensive to get a good explosion out of. The draws aren't bad. I prefer some more Moment of Cravings and a Mirari Conjecture, but what can you do? And the copy is what? Shock, go face. Yeah, the idea is to cheese us out with Banefire, so that makes perfect sense. Down to 11. So right now Banefire is for 7. There's an Eldest Reborn. Let's have some fun. Get this thing cooking. We can probably get their Karn and try to win with it. Continues to want to keep my black mana open and not my red/blue, even though that's what most of my things do. Take that out. I think we also play out treasure map and the discovery dispersal. Yeah, let's get that off the top. Thank you. Oh my. We were determined to draw land for quite a while. Hit quite the flood zone. So this may be a place where I thought should have brought in some Thought Erasures at least to deal with my opponent who is... Oh, if I had left a mana up to deal with somebody who's back building all these giant burn spells. I think I need to dig for what? A way to win? Mirari's Conjecture, something like that. We could also get the last card out of their hand, potentially. Another Reborn. A Shock. Okay, so the last card's a burn spell, right? Right. So how do we stop it? Getting a Dispersal back would do it. Scry. There's a Conjecture. So what is this? This would be 5, then this would be 5, then this would be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not really there, are we? Not really there. So what could I draw into? If I just straight drew a Dispersal, what would I hit for? So we have 11, so I could hit this for 2, and the Conjecture, the card under it would have to be a Discovery Dispersal to empty their hand here. Alright, let's try it. And it's not. That's too bad. And I guess I get you back. I don't think it matters at this point. Burn. Burn spell. I bet it's Banefire. It is Banefire. Oh, a little bit of overkill, huh? Well, gotta go for all of it. I should have left up Expansion Explosion for that turn. Tapping out was a bit silly. Alright, let's grab the Thought Erasures now. Eldest Reborn might be too slow. And the opponent, I think, is going to play around it well. They have all the Legion War Bosses, so let's get the shock count back up. We still need all the coils for the Phoenix. Maybe we can trim some Pirates pillaging. Maybe all the Stars of Extinction aren't the greatest idea, although blowing up those lands is pretty good. And they do have Karn. Yeah, it's fine. Maybe we can trim on Treasure Map, although that big mana advantage seems to be a lot of what the deck's about. I guess I just don't want to draw too many of these and have it end up like the first game. We can't expect them to draw all the war bosses. This is plenty of ways to kill a war boss. Alright, let's try this deck out. I will play. This hand is good. None of the mana issues of my previous two hands, so that's exciting. Yeah, of Treasure Map into Powerstone Shard, activate Treasure Map. Our opponent went out for a drink, perhaps. Go to the pub with some friends, be back later. Or an incredibly tough decision between Mountain or Arch of Erazkan turn one of the two. And now we have somewhere to go with that mana, Star of Extinction. I'm sure our opponent will be careful not to overextend into stars, and to flip Treasure Map on my turn, at the end of my turn, but regardless, Star can still take out the whole Karn power thing. We'll drop a shard, start using map, use chain whirls, sure. Another land. Suppose we need them. And we can coil and shard and map and all that stuff. I would really like it to be another blue. But I'll take it. So we drop other shard. We tap both of those for mana, so it's total 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So I'm going to make sure I remember to use this. I'd hate to forget. There is our other blue source. But with Treasure Map, we sort of have that if we can get to an expansion explosion, so I'm going to start bottoming lands. Fun turn. We'll put an upkeep stop so we can keep using our maps and try to find the cards we really need. Chain Whirler returns. Hey, I got something to use a Star of Extinction on. I have so much mana, I might not be above that. Upkeep, scry 1. Moment of Craving. Doesn't kill the Chain Whirler, and I don't see a war boss. So I'm going to bottom it. Well, let's hang on to it, because a war boss would be an excellent follow-up. And I'll give up a mana to take my draw, because mana clears at the end of each phase. And then we'll go with red and bomb them. Pew! It's very, very early for Star of Extinction, but that Arch has to go anyway. That Chain Whirler shouldn't be allowed to hit me. And we're going nuts with Treasure Maps. We should be able to find more solutions to what our opponent does. And Stone Raining the opponent isn't always the worst. I think I'll keep my treasures rather than scrying with the map. Our opponent now on double map. It's going to give us time, but it's going to give them good draws. We'll see how it all works out. All right. Still, the opponent loves black-red lands. Or the auto shuffler, not the opponent. The auto tapper, not the auto shuffler. Flubbin'. I'm flubbing over here. But it seems to love keeping these untapped and never keeping my blue mana open. Alright, I'm just trying to do some upkeep scry. May I upkeep scry? And keep the pace of the game. Nice and fresh. Eh, maybe. What do you think? What do you think, Teferi? Hurry! Oh yeah, that's kind of your keyword, isn't it? Thought Erasure. Excellent. Well, let's start with drawing a card. Cards are good. There we go. There we go. Next turn, baby. Let's Thought Erase something here. 2 Siege Gang Commanders and a Direfleet Daredevil? Yuck. Well, I don't want to be reverse Thought Erased by the Direfleet Daredevil. The Siege Gang Commanders, I guess I have to find Star of Extinction to deal with. I have Moment of Craving. I can deal with the first gang commander himself. But Direfleet on Thought Erasure is pretty bad when we're about to explode. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Daredevil. And land off the top, I don't need you. Here comes treasure mapping. And both top, so they found something they like. It's a mountain, so interesting. I guess they just want to keep an extra treasure. They didn't want to flip their map and lose treasures. Maybe. All right, here is Siege Gang. So with the ability on the stack, let's crave it. So they don't get to sacrifice the little goblins, even if they wanted to. They shouldn't, but just take away those options. Another Thought Erasure is nice. We can make a play on that last Siege Gang. We're left with the tokens to deal with. Unfortunately, we don't get to explode right now. Let's draw a card then instead. We can still use the treasure map to flip next turn to make sure we have blue. And here they come. Little Goblin Gangland. Beats. And what's the follow-up? A Phoenix. Oh boy. It's on. Alright, let's scry. We're gonna need some answers, my friends. Shock. Kills a thing. Maybe it's greedy to bottom that, but I'm going to. Look for something a little higher impact. Yep, missed it. Hey, there's the Lava Coil. Get that Phoenix out of here. And I'll hold up Expansion Explosion for the next threat that they decide to play. And if they don't play a threat, I will blow up a token. As horrible as that sounds, got to save your life total. Here comes the scries, here comes the flips. Top? Yep, top. Scary. Legion War Boss. Alright, full control mode. And now, before combat, we'll go with a colorless. And what? What just happened? Why did it leave? This game sometimes. I swear it hates me. I have to deal with the board right now. So what is that for? 5? Should have been for 6. Don't know why auto priority screw up happened. There's a Mirari Conjecture. Mirari Conjecture is good here. We can use lots of Moments of Cravings. And I'll try not to be too salty about that experience. Alright, here is colorless red. Powerstone Shard. 1, 2, a whole bunch of mana. I guess I'll take back one of those. We might not need all of it, but we probably will. Alright, Conjecture. Get me back. I already have one Moment of Craving, but I feel like I should use all of them to protect my life total. As much as I love Expansion Explosion drawing a million cards, is that what I need? Well, yeah, probably. It's just too good not to, right? We can definitely win the game the turn after that. So, in the meantime, we'll go with... We want to use this mana, so we'll play a treasure map. And do we use a Discovery Dispersal? I don't think so. That would leave us with only one colored mana. Unless we use the shard right now. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll go here, we'll go black. And we'll go with the Discovery Dispersal. Surveil 2, draw a card. There's a Pirate's Pillage. Is that what we need? Don't need the land. Well, I do need another blue source, don't I? Yeah, actually I do. I do need the land. But do I leave the Pirate's Pillage? I don't have anything I wish to discard either. I'll put it in the graveyard. We can always get it back next turn if we change our mind on this. And then we'll use a Moment of Craving on a token. Make it that ugly mismatched one. And we'll use a Treasure Map Scry. Another Discovery is great. Just get us deeper, and that's the turn. Complicated turn. Sorry it took so long. So they still have 2 treasures and 2 coves. Plenty of ways to rebuild the mana base. Here come the creatures. We'll throw a shock down now. I was holding it in case they also played another Legion War Boss. And here come the cards. Treasure map, sure. Let's put a scry here. So what am I getting back? I should probably, I could get back a Star of Extinction. I should get back a Thought Erasure and clear the way and make sure I'm not going to die somehow next turn. So do I still want Discovery Dispersal? Sure, I probably should have saved that. No reason to upkeep scry there, but missed it that time. Was thinking too much about the Conjecture. And then if we untap with Explosion available next turn, we win the game, almost certainly. So we just have to get to that point. Let's see what our opponent's got cooking for us. They might regret doing this, using the Treasure Cove's main phase after that. Another Lava Coil's fine. We can use it with the Discovery to kill something. To kill one of these. So I'll tap you for mana. And we'll discover. Another Pillage, huh? Again, I'm just gonna have to wait on that one. Coil one of those. Just one less option. Might as well be careful, since this wins the game next turn anyway. What our opponent could get off the top that would burn big time is a Direfleet Daredevil. That's what they're looking for now, because that with the Thought Erasure can take our expansion away. So that's what they need. They need a Direfleet Daredevil. Here's the draw after scrying to the bottom twice. Here's Treasure Cove digging. And that's game. This hand has an early moment, a mid-game pillage, and an expansion. There's definitely some holes, but we'll keep it, see where it goes. Opponent's taking a longer look at their hand, and we'll see what they decide. Mulligan. All right. So this doesn't come into play untapped if we have a mountain, so we'll lead on this tapped land. An important thing to watch for in your check lands and your shock land mix. But if we go this mountain, then everything's untapped for the rest of the way. And possibly some Esper control shenanigans. Oh boy. Just what we wanted to play against. Give me all the hand hate. Ooh. To copy or not to copy? I think I'll use this for a counter spell, not to copy a discovery. Or if they ever tap out, boom. All right, they binned another one. They must be digging for land, and there is a tap land. What's more important? The Powerstone Shard or the map? I think it's the map. I think the map is the most important. Sneaking it out onto the board to get a big mana advantage can be a big difference in the game. We really don't want to run our Pirate's Pillage into some kind of a counterspell. And, well, our opponent, maybe they're a tap-out deck, because so far we have not seen counterspells. This might be the fake news to fairy tap-out version of the deck, but you never know. It would be weird for somebody to play Esper with no counterspells. It would take a madman who would do such a thing. Conjecture. So I'm playing a Jeskai hybrid of Drakes and Control in the upcoming Undercity tournament, and it doesn't run counterspells. So when I say what madman would do such a thing, I think you know of this person of which I speak. I guess we'll leave a black mana open, because why not? And pass the turn. By the way, my first round draw in the Undercity tournament, which you can find information about on the Magic Arena Wikia, operated by a good friend of mine. My first round opponent is Nox. Yes, the Professor Nox. So you're gonna want to see that. I'm sure we'll both be live on Twitch, and I will be posting it to YouTube eventually, but sometime this week, it looks like I get to play the Noxious One himself. I've played him before. I played him in a few events. Can't remember who's won more, to be honest. There have been some pretty fun games, though, so I'm looking forward to it. Another expansion explosion seems nice after the opponent just forced me to discard mine. And they left mana up. So you can guess that the counter magic is about to be online. Now, we could play the Conjecture, getting back an expansion explosion. If the opponent counters it, we can expansion their counter and counter their counter. Maybe I'm just supposed to do that with a Pillage, though, instead. Because then I don't have to flip my treasure map to do it. That's a pretty big game. So yeah, let's do this. And we don't have to sacrifice treasures just yet. Although I may want to anyway. Just get that flipped and have extra treasures on the field. Oh, they let that resolve. Ooh. Interesting. All right. Star of Extinction and Lava Coil showing up. Would you like to play Teferi? Another Thought Erasure. Well, I could keep the Explosion, or they'll probably take the Conjecture. I think I'll try to copy their Thought Erasure. If I do that and they counter it, then I untap with borderline nothing. I think I'd make them choose among these. I don't think I copy their Thought Erasure here. Make them choose. They have to pick the expansion or the conjecture. They're going to pick the expansion, which opens up that they can counter the conjecture if I try to cast it. Let's flip the treasure map and try to find another thing to force through. Okay, another conjecture. Let's go. Opponent's feeling great about themselves. Like the kings of the magic. They fell right into my plan. Give up some treasures, I know, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And please, may I have back this expansion explosion? Yes, thank you. And now there's a ticking time bomb on the field. The opponent with Teferi. They can minus Teferi if they want to put the conjecture back in my deck, but that's not a big deal. And untap 2 lands. We get back a Pillage, I think. Yeah, there it is. Pirate's Pillage. We play the Mountain, and I think we wait on everything until the double spelling would occur. But the opponent could tick down Teferi. So maybe I just go for a star. Yeah. I think we just go for a star. Target the white sources. Actually, they don't have an island if I blow this up. It might mess them up later. And we can copy a counter spell should one come into play here if we wish. No.
You want me to phase you out of time?
Bye-bye, Teferi. And other Teferi. Shocking development. But if they minus it here, they don't.
No time for a break.
Okay. Interesting. That's really optimistic, I'd say. That you're going to get through this conjecture turn without suffering greatly. Oh boy. All right, let's teach them about the joy of conjecture. Let's tap these. And start with a Pirate's Pillage, since it's essentially free. They replace themselves with more treasures. One counterspell will not get you out of this. All right, another Pirate's Pillage. Let's do that as well. A Powerstone Shard, that's not free. But a very large expansion explosion. I believe the time has come. Blue, blue, red, blue. So it's going to be for 7. And it's going to be copied. And they're going to have to copy, they're going to have to counter both. I could leave a mana up for a Syncopate, because a negate and a Syncopate is one way that they could counter both. So I'll do this for 6. Bang. And bang. Resolve. Bang and bang. I get to draw the cards either way, so this way we make sure Teferi dies and we draw like our deck.
Time for plan B.
Okay, and with a little bit of mana left, we'll go upstairs. Work on killing you just a little. All right, end step. We do not need most of these land. If I keep one, it'll be a summit. And why keep any? The Powerstone Shards are very useful. Coils, not so much. Shock can be helping with the lethals. Eldest Reborn helps with another Teferi. I think letting go of the shock is fine. And one of these discoveries, maybe two. Yep, that's fine. Fine, all fine. Eldest Reborn. Nice. Two mana open. They didn't do anything with it last time. Let's play the other mana engine of the deck, Powerstone Shard. So resolving nice and easy. I like that. Drop a Conjecture. Get me back. You know who? Expansion Explosion. Set that up for next turn. And yeah, we'll play out a map. Could hold this. I think I will. I have 22 cards in my deck. I have access to almost anything I need, but this bouncing stuff might come into play before it's over. One of these can go. I don't need two. Okay, they're leaving all the mana up. Another shard. That will make sure that there is plenty of mana. Return a sorcery. Get back a star, I guess. You can take out another Teferi, perhaps. Or another Discovery Dispersal. I guess I can bounce their Eldest Reborn with it. I don't need that many more cards. I don't think I need another Star of Extinction. Let's tap you, play you. Tap you. Cast this Dispersal side. Bounce that before something comes back from it. Use the treasure map. Don't need you. And do we pillage this turn? Nope, we'll just wait. We'll wait till we have double spells. Return of the Reborn. You get the feeling that this one's going to end. Like the opponent could not keep up. I'll dispersal them again, just for good measure. Try to draw some kind of a counter thing out if that's what they wish to do. And we don't want to deck ourselves, so we're probably going to make our opponent draw some cards here. So there's 16. So yeah, let's just fire away for 16 here. And yeah, no risk, just everything to their face. Yep, your one negate will not save you here. And we got to game 2 against the control deck, so that's nice. Transformational sideboard plans, I'm trying to think. What would Esper sideboard into? I don't know. Anyway, I think for the most part that what's coming in is all the Duress, the Search for Iskanta, the Eldest Reborn and all the Thought Erasures. I don't really want to be dropping Star of Extinctions on my opponent, so I'm going to cut those and the removal spells. Maybe we do leave in 2 stars. I don't know what my opponent might drop early. They might bring in Lyras and Vonas, but I don't think they have anything like a Legion Warboss plan that we have to fear out of Jeskai. And Eldest Reborn is perfectly fine against those things. So, let's see, look at the curve. We're on the draw. Anything else I have to worry about? We're going to tear their hand apart. This is going to be great. Yeah, I think everything else going is fine. Alright, turn 1 Duress, turn 2 I don't know, turn 3 Powerstone Shard, turn 4 Pirate's Pillage. We don't even have to Duress on turn 1, but getting their Search for Azcanta might end up mattering. So we'll keep. There are plenty of times where you don't want to immediately Duress them, but sometimes hitting a treasure map or a Search for Azcanta is just that good. Our opponent did go down to 5 cards. I'm still doing it. Search for Azcanta is one of the only things that could get them back in it. And there's a Syncopate. But let's grab the Teferi. We can kind of play with and around a Syncopate. We have another Duress to fight it when they leave it up. So we'll play this tapped, and I'll just hang on to this Duress. We don't have to be in a hurry to use it. Thought Erasure. Okay. Well, that takes down the Syncopate shield. And if we start playing Powerstone Shards, the Syncopate's going to have a very hard time countering our stuff anyway. So, I don't know. Our opponent, I think, was in a hurry to use that Thought Erasure. They did keep on top. Feels like the opponent rushed that one. Powerstone Shard in multiples can make Syncopate close to obsolete. Must be a Chemister's Insight. So that's a good reason not to. Let's see. Our opponent could sink this. Or we could go for Erasure. We could even take the Insight if that's what they kept. Seems very likely. Alright, I'll lead with Erasure. Let's see what they do. Right now I can pay for a Syncopate if they cast that and leave them empty-handed. Or we can take the Syncopate and play a Shard. And it is an Insight, so if we take that away, let them have 2 cards, play the other Shard. Or we could take the Insight and make it hard for them to get 2 cards. I'll make it hard for them to get 2 cards, and I'll keep working on keeping the Syncopate just a bad card. And I'll even jam this Powerstone Shard into it. If my opponent wants to Syncopate it, then they don't have a card to discard to Chemister's Insight, and they're playing next turn empty-handed, and I have Pirate's Pillage. Alright, there you go. So they're going to discard the Syncopate now to use the Insight. In there, some virtual card advantage. Just making their Syncopate awkward as possible. Discovery. We haven't seen Dimir. What is that card? Disinformation Campaign. Even though they have all the erasures and sabotages and discovery dispersals. Alright, let's see if we can cast this off discarding this mountain. They could have drawn a counterspell, which would be frustrating. And they did. Of course they did. They always do. But we get it. We get through it. We get it out of their hand. There's always bigger things on the way. Let's try that again. Of course. Of course. They drew 2 sinister sabotages off the Chemister's Insight. Of course they did. Alright. Top deck war. Best possible, probably, to recovering from a top deck war, Notion Rain. Let's see. And they binned 1 and kept 1. Well, do we Thought Erase them now? They could have kept it to Teferi. We know it's a relevant something. We know they kept it because the other card was a land. So we may as well get it. It's something they wanted. Wow. I'm confused. They kept a land with the Notion Rain? I got outplayed, everybody. Could have a big mana advantage off this, but I don't want to spend a draw step on it. Let's see, Notion Rain surveilled 2, right? And they played a land. Yeah, they kept 1 land. Wow. I mean, lands aren't terrible in the matchup, but when you're empty-handed, that just seems crazy. Okay. Is there a Teferi? There is. There is a Teferi. Well, funky. Let's make some dorks.
Our actions determine there is great
So if there is a Teferi coming out here, we get to beat it down. Oh, Eldest. Okay, wow. We drew around that Eldest Reborn perfectly.
Must be built.
And yeah, now we have threats on the board. Let's see how the opponent wants to deal with it when they get their Teferi.
If you show remorse, I'll
Drawing.
I'm not
Okay.
done yet.
They're trying to draw out of it. Duress. Ooh, rude. What a game. Let's make our opponent make some Karn choices.
Are you certain of your decision?
And they scoop. So I see a treasure map. If our opponent had given us the treasure map, we could have played the other treasure map too and smashed the opponent with the Karn Structs. Our hand is 2 lands into Discovery, hopefully fixing the draw, and we have a lot of cheap removal. I'll keep it. Okay, in case our opponent does play with Electromancer, let's play this untapped. It would be great to be able to shock the Electromancer and Discovery next turn, and not have to stop everything, but it looks like that's not going to be the case this time. We do telegraph that shock pretty hard when we play the land that way. So what do we need? We need land, card draw, an Eldest Reborn. I can be good against Drakes. I'll keep it. Getting their own Crackling Drake to use against them can be a big game. We have a lot of ways to kill the Drakes, so as long as we keep making our land drops, eventually exploding and drawing a bunch of cards might be able to get us ahead. We have a Lava Coil. We can take out the Arclight Phoenix forever or the Crackling Drake. Beacon Bolt to the yard. Perfectly fine with that. Blue-red does what? Nothing. Alright, staring match. I'm in. Let's do this. Let's gaze into each other's eyes. Here's the Drake, and they're probably thinking dive down. As you see, they waited till they had the open mana. But that will not stop the Eldest Reborn. Oh, please play the dive down anyway. Ooh, Spell Pierce, even better. Nice. Better than a dive down there. I don't see Spell Pierce out of Drakes ever, so I think that's the first time that's happened to me in Game 1. I bet they are loving their decisions. How many do you think they play? Also, expansion copying a dive down does nothing. Can't even really do it. Copying a Lava Coil at instant speed, though, in response to the dive down, I think does work. So that hurt. Felt that one, everybody. Let's try this Lava Coil. We can also go Shock Craving in response. Alright. I mean, I suppose... I think that's better than using Expansion Explosion here. It's a lot of card disadvantage. And it leaves us vulnerable to the next one. But it does get the immediate threat off the table. I don't know. I don't know which is better there. We're up to a 3-point Expansion Explosion. If we get to 4, we can go after the next Drake, but of course Dive Down wrecks it. Oh boy. Yep, 1 mana off. Drake into Drake, huh? I guess this doesn't get back a Lava Coil. Can get back a Moment of Craving, which might help us make it another turn. Let's try it. Not a lot else to do here. Our opponent's playing in possibly more counter spells. We'll see. And yeah, I'll take Moment of Craving just to try to save some life total. Here comes Discovery. We're going for Giant Drake mode. They've been to nothing. Well, I probably should have done this on upkeep. Because if they do have a dive down here, I fail. Yeah. If they had it in their hand, it didn't matter. But my timing was poor. And that's game. Poor timing. Bad work. Bad work. Okay, let's see. I'm going to definitely take out Stars, and I'm definitely taking out Karn. And then some of these, like Moment of Craving and Shock, it's difficult to tell if they should stay or not. We did not actually see Arclight Phoenix. Perhaps our opponent isn't an Arclight Phoenix deck. I know that sounds pretty crazy, but it's possible. We also didn't see Goblin Electromancer, so these may be just poor cards for the matchup. And Thought Erasure can come in and search for Iskanta. So we're really leaning now on Lava Coil and Eldest Reborn. But I think that's where we want to be. I don't... It's going to suck if our opponent just Turbo Arclights us or drops a Goblin Electromancer. But I think this is where we want to be. Just given the cards that we've seen. We may get swerved. We're certainly opening ourselves up to get swerved. But... it's just, I don't know what's going on. The deck seems a little bit different, and I'm a person who plays kind of a Drake deck, like a Drake tempo deck without Arclight Phoenix, and I think that will continue to get popular as Arclight Phoenix is a bit overhyped, overpriced, and easy to remove with all the Lava Coils and Vraska's Contempts and even Necrotic Wounds people are playing now. Alright, we'll try it. We get right into Conjecture. And we get to lead on Watery Grave, so our mana's pretty good. Let's get Discovery. Looking for some hand disruption, and especially Lava Coil. Is Treasure Map what we want? Off curve? I don't think so. I'm going to bin both. Another land. Not really what I was looking for. Detection Tower coming in, or staying in. Definitely implies a more control-y build of the deck. And definitely not an Electromancer-friendly card. Opponent choosing between Chart a Course and Discovery, probably. Oh, it's Iskanta. Oh boy. So another thing we're going to be watching for is Niv, which is another reason to go up on Eldest Reborns. Next turn we can actually cast Powerstone Shard and Mirari's Conjecture, and it looks like our opponent's tapping their mana. They do run Spell Pierce. We saw it in game 1. It was nasty. But we still have a 4-point expansion, 5-point expansion explosion, even if they Spell Pierce the Conjecture here. And we have another Conjecture. So, second Shard. Mirari's Conjecture. Make him have it. Yep, 2 games in a row. Maybe we're going to learn more this game about how many Spell Pierces they actually run. They kept with his Kanta, so there should be no mana issues. But man, Detection Tower does take you off Crackling Drake on turn 4, but obviously they're not thinking about that too much, and they went straight to the Drake. So let's show them what's up. Let's kill it and draw 5. Oh man. So the problem is we still didn't find Lava Coil, which is our top-notch removal spell that we're looking for. They've been a dive down, so they either have one or they don't care for it with the Detection Tower. And there's a Lava Coil. Okay. So I want Mirari's Conjecture. They left mana up. They probably have some form of counter magic. Let's fire a Duress into that and see what happens. Ooh, Niv Mizzet and Lava Coil, that's it. So, Niv Mizzet is not coming down next turn because of the Detection Tower. It's still wrecking them. Oh, they can flip that Search for Kanta though, can't they? Yes, indeed. So what do we need to take out a Niv Mizzet? We need more cards. So I could play Conjecture here. I think I'll start with Pirate's Pillage. And what are we discarding? An extra land. We have enough. Two Lava Coils. We need more cards now. Alright, let's play the Conjecture then. And, wow, if they tap out for Niv, I can double coil it. I can Dispersal it. They would draw a card, so it wouldn't get rid of Niv permanently. I'll grab the Expansion Explosion because we can get Discovery Dispersal next turn because of the sorcery side if we need to. And I'll leave my treasures. The mana advantage might be huge. We can try to set up Expansion for the win, but we need more mana. We need another Powerstone Shard. Yep, here comes the flip. Let's see if they just go land Niv Mizzet here. It would be gutsy. They can't expect it to live. And trading my expansion with the Niv is probably not what they want to see either. So they go Mountain Niv, I expand them, they go up to 2 cards, Niv dies, I draw a bajillion, then I get my Conjecture turn. That's really good too. Okay, they're not going for it. They're passing on that option. Could take a Duress or Discovery Dispersal. I think the Pillage to keep the ramp going is probably where we want to be. So if we Pillage here, we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then it is a lethal explosion next turn. I'll leave one of these back in case we draw another Shard. Another land can definitely go. Okay, we'll tap you for mana, put out a treasure map. And another one. Nothing to Duress right now. Maybe we'll use one to lead the way next turn. And let's see what his Kanta brings our opponent. It is a Disdainful Stroke, so that's going to copy one of the explosions, so we can't win unless we Duress it away. And I'm sure our opponent will go for Niv here, because getting that effect on the key turn is big. No, it doesn't look like they want to. They know about the Expansion Explosion. They don't know about the Duress. Another, Thought Erasure. Well, that can take out Niv, but I might have lethal anyway without that. So let's find out. Let's go into the turn, sack the thing, play the land, let's look around. So 4 mana to cast the Expansion Explosion. We need to be able to Duress away the Disdainful Stroke and explode for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So, yeah, that's enough. That will do it. Let's get the Duress going. The opponent might be able to Iskanta into a counter, but they're not going to try. Next game. I like the way that played out, and I didn't see anything to change my mind about what our opponent's deck is trying to do, which is Enigma Crackling Drake's Dive Down and counter spells, and now Niv Mizzet. So that's not a good reason to bring back any of this stuff. Let's go into game 3. All right. Hand's pretty good. We have to lead on tapped Sulfur Falls, I think, into Discovery, then see where it goes. As long as we get to cast Eldest Reborn and Mirari Conjecture, with Duress somewhere along the way, we should be okay. This makes all of our other lands enter untapped, so let's go with it. And another search. That's fine. I think we showed last time that that search is really mana intensive. I don't have to hit that with Duress. I have to make sure that my stuff resolves. Do I want one of these pillages? I suppose I could make sure that they don't have a counterspell and then pillage the following turn. But what would I even discard? One of my conjectures, perhaps? I'm just going to bin both, I think. I'd rather have a land. Although I don't have a play for 4 right now. Alright, I will keep one. I'm just not used to liking Pirate's Pillage or even wanting it. So maybe I just don't use it very effectively. Quasi-duplicate. Okie dokie. The dream, just the way you draw it up. You put it in the graveyard with your Iskanta. And is it another island? It is. Okay. Well, let's play around a spell. Spell Pierce? Yeah, that's it. Spell Pierce. We see a Firemind's Research and a whole bunch of creatures and no red mana. Eldest Reborn is fine against most of this. A Firemind's Research is an annoying enchantment, but it's a bit slow. And if they have to take the turn off to cast that, they're not casting their other cards. So I'm taking Rawl here. Take the threats. What an odd hand to keep. And have they found a red source? They did, but it's tapped, and they have no play this turn. We could erase something, but I don't think that's important at the moment. Going to discard the other Pirate's Pillage. I don't see needing 2 anytime soon. There's the land we need. Well, why don't I erase next turn if they leave mana available and not let them flip their Iskanta here? And then we can also Eldest Reborn or Mirari's Conjecture and erase them again in the future. Alright, pass. If they go for a Drake here, it's most likely an Eldest Reborn play. Now that there's a Rawl in the graveyard, that's a really good get. They've been an island. They find another mountain. So things have started to turn their way. They can play a Firemind's Research. All right. Let's see, I can take away their Niv and kill off their Enigma Drake, and that just sounds too good to pass up. Now I just have to make sure that I don't lose to that Enigma Drake. Our opponent has Quasi-Duplicate, so they can double Drake next turn, discarding their 1 card. Dispersal can get rid of 1. We don't have a Lava Coil yet, do we? That is the problem. It's only a 3/4. That's the bright side. Not that huge. And next turn we get a Niv. What do we have, 6 mana? I think dispersing one of them is just to make sure that we live, but we definitely want something to go with the Niv next turn. I guess we could conjecture up what? This gets an instant, right? Yeah, let's get a conjecture ticking. I think that that's better. What does our opponent do next turn? They hit us for 6. We get back... Next turn we can get back a sorcery as well, so we can hit their hand, we can disperse them once, and we get a Niv. Should be good. Or we get a Pirate's Pillage, we use that with Niv, along with Discovery Dispersal. That's really good. Alright, let's go for it. Our opponent could get some things and mess with us, but let's take some risk. Let's go for something flashy. For the peeps. I wonder if there's any case there to... Oh, they don't have black mana, so it is a straightforward discovery here. Try to pump up those drakes, see if they can kill me, but they put nothing in the graveyard. Wow. That's kind of shocking. Wow. Not sure what to think of that. Down to 12. Get me back my Niv Mizzet, please. And for a sorcery, empty-handed. May as well take the Pillage. That does a lot of Niv Mizzet triggering. All right, here we go. Don't think another Azcanta is where I need to be. So let's kill off some drakes. Doesn't seem to matter which one. The hand hate is so real. All right, down to 1. Now we do the other Pillage. And I suppose one of these is just fine to discard. Too much hand hate. So this Drake down. And then this one's going to fall as well, because we'll be able to follow this up after we get the treasures with the Discovery Dispersal. Drawing the Lava Coil doesn't change what I want to do. I want to get the Drakes dead. And I'd rather cast Discovery Dispersal here and save a treasure for the next turn. It's quite possible I also could have killed the opponent. There's a lot of math for that. If we did 8 damage to all these Drakes, it's quite possible I could have got there, the full 20. Seems a little bit much. But Niv is capable of amazing things. Still, Niv can't attack this turn. It just came back off the Eldest Reborn, so drawing 20 cards this turn, not realistic. Opponent has turned to the rope. Maybe they're going to try to draw a dive down off this Firemind's Research. Maybe that is their out. But drawing dive down at this stage doesn't matter anymore because that would trigger Niv Mizzet, and Niv Mizzet would kill the Drake anyway. I think it's something they could have done sooner, because a lot of these are sorcery speed. In fact, everything here is sorcery speed. We are sorcery machines. No, this is just a proper roping, as our opponent was able to take game 1 rather easily, making me look like a fool, but games 2 and 3, it has not been so. There's the draw. Down goes the Drake. I could go after the card. I may as well. I mean, may as well see what they got. At least I get to draw a card off of it here. And if it's something useful, all right, they got their own Niv. Holy crap. All right. We're going to do Niv on Niv. I can disperse it. I can Eldest Reborn it. I'm doing fine. Yep, Niv on Niv. There goes Mirari Conjecture. Everything's doubled. And the opponent doesn't want to see what happens next. I don't blame them. The Eldest Reborn was going to probably make them cry, and then after that, either we hit their hand complete with Thought Erasure or draw a new one with Discovery Dispersal. I hope you enjoyed these games with Grixis Mirari's Conjecture. I certainly did. A very interesting deck to play. I'm definitely still working on some of the finer points of playing the deck myself, and it's really immersive. Once you're in the Grixis Conjecture world, it's kind of hard to get out, so I hope you'll give it a try. Thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. My YouTube channel is proudly supported by HauntedFlower.com, shipping officially licensed apparel anywhere in the world, and now featuring Magic the Gathering apparel and accessories. If you use the promo code CGB at your checkout, you can save 10% on any order. That's the promo code CGB at checkout on HauntedFlower.com. That's HauntedFlower.com.